Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and this is a very late in the week video about the WRC Safari Rally, maybe some of the trials and tribulations the WRC is facing right now. I have to say, for a series that over the last couple of rounds has had an issue with reliability, cars not making the end, and we've seen WRC 2 cars finishing in like 5th or 6th place, the reliability on the Safari Rally this time was better, which is very surprising, although I think just about every car had something wrong with it at some point. But it was nowhere near as bad as I was worried it was going to be, and most of the cars made it to the end unscathed. In fact, I think the first WRC 2 car was 8th, so that's 7 of the main cars finishing, and Thierry Neuville technically finishing the points but was then disqualified, so it would have been 8, which is pretty much everyone, I think, isn't it? Is it 4 Toyotas? Someone's missing. So yeah, 2022 we saw Toyota take the first 4 places on the Safari Rally, and they managed to do that again in 2023. I don't know if it was as easy as it was last year, but it was still a very good result for them. And it shows that Ford and Hyundai have issues with fragility. They definitely suffered more, Neuville especially, but just about all of the Fords and the Hyundais had issues. Lappi was driving for puncture at one point, and he was really going for it anyway. So good for him, but it was still a struggle. Sordo had his issues. And Tanak again looked very quick at times, but the car had problems and it just wasn't able to stay within the top 4 cars. Lubert did very well to get to the end, considering he hasn't done that many rallies this year. So he was only 7th, but it's still a good result for him. But Toyota, they're on another level right now. Rovanperä looks unstoppable, but only because Ogier is part-timing the season. If he was there full-time, I have no doubt Ogier would be champion easily. He's second in the points. I don't even think he's that far behind Rovanperä, but for a driver who's missed a couple of rounds, I think that is embarrassing for everyone else. Neuville and Tanak especially, and Neuville on the right day is one of the quickest drivers there, but he just seems to have a lot of bad luck, but B, he does make a lot of mistakes and he does crash quite a lot as well, so he's only really got himself to blame. Toyota are running away with it this year, and even Elfyn Evans is doing a really good job. He's very consistent, and he obviously took a win earlier in the year. Katsuta, I think 2023 has been worse than 2022 was for him, and this was the best we've seen from Katsuta all year, and he did well to finish 4th. I mean, Ogier at one point didn't have a tailgate and he was still 8 seconds faster than everyone, so it shows you how good the Toyota is. But I still fear for the WRC in just regards to there's just not enough competition and not enough manufacturers on the grid. Well, not grid, but there aren't enough manufacturers involved. Because, I mean, you've only got Hyundai, Ford and Toyota, and you've only got a couple of full-time drivers in each. So okay, with Toyota you've got Evans and Rovanperä and Katsutas at every rally anyway, with Ogier part-time. But Hyundai is Lappi and Neuville full-time, and then I think Teemu Suunanen is going to be racing part-time for them, basically replacing Craig Breen. And Suunanen's fine, but he's not exactly, he's not going to set the world on fire. He'll be there, but he'll be the 3rd best Hyundai. And you've got Danny Sordo, who tends to do a good job when he's there. But again, he's not someone you expect to be challenging for wins at every rally. He might get lucky here and there, but he's not world class. And the same with Ford. Tanak's a great driver, but Lubert, he's nothing amazing, at least not yet. I think he is still quite young, so he could get better. But we saw last year with Adrian Formal and Gus Greensmith, it's not guaranteed you're going to get more than a year if you're not performing well enough. Ford changed driver lineups a lot. So, I mean, that's your group. Like, if you had all of those drivers at one rally, you would have 10 cars. Maybe 11 if Ford have a third driver, which I can't actually remember if they have or not this year. Now, you see Jordan Serdaridis and the Italian bloke who is somehow related to the Gucci Empire. I can't remember his name. There's a couple others as well that just sort of turn up here and there, but they never feature. Like, they're never pushing for points. And WRC2, again, there's not enough manufacturers. It's Citroens, Skodas or Fords. But you never see anyone do well in WRC2 and then instantly move up to WRC. And yeah, there's been a few drivers who have. But it's like Adrian Fourmau and Gus Greensmith have gone back to WRC2. Andreas Mikkelsen has been dominant in this class for the last few years and just seems to be an absolute pariah with the manufacturer teams. Johan Rossel's a pretty good driver. He always seems to do pretty well in WRC2, but he's never been given a chance in WRC. There's no clear progression. And I think that needs to change. I think they could do something with WRC 3 and 2 and the junior category and somehow get that working so there's a clear line of progression. They need more manufacturers, whatever it takes, somehow making the series cheaper or just something that brings in new blood. And I've been saying that for the last couple of years and I think it's getting more apparent by the rally. I do really like the Safari Rally. I think it's one of the most visually impressive motorsport events on the calendar. And it was no different this year. It looks fantastic. Could you get all these mixed surfaces? So you got a lot of dust, a lot of gravel, but then there's mud, there's water splashes, there's big jumps, it's fast. There tends to be some crashes here and there. As I said, Ogier lost his tailgate at one point. It's a spectacle, and I think for WRC, this and the Monte Carlo Rally are the only ones that really stand out. Maybe Sweden as well, but that's pretty much it. As in, there's no other really special rallies that stand out. Maybe the RAC Rally, but I'm saying that because I'm English. But I think WRC, is it in trouble? It can't last like this forever. At some point, Toyota, Hyundai or Ford are going to not want to be involved anymore. They're going to need to replace them anyway. They need to do something to attract more manufacturers. They need to find a way to get drivers who do well in WRC2 into full-blown WRC drives. Whatever it takes, honestly. Even if you have to make a smaller calendar, the car's cheaper, whatever. It's just, I think that is necessary for the future of the WRC. Because 3 manufacturers, it's not enough. As for the calendar, the calendar's pretty good. I don't think I'd actually make that many changes to it. It's about the right length, and maybe there's a few countries on there where it's a bit like when Estonia was on there, but then you have an Estonian doing very well, so I understand why. Yeah, I don't think I'd change the calendar too much. Actually, it's pretty good, but I think it is just there aren't enough cars, and that's been an issue with a lot of different categories of motorsport. And I feel for Toyota, because Toyota take part in almost everything. Like, they're in NASCAR, they do WRC, they're in the British touring cars, World Endurance, obviously Super Formula and Super GT has Toyota. I think Toyota, yeah, Thomas Toyota, isn't it? I'm sure there's other things they take part in. Toyota do a lot of motorsport, and they're very successful at it. Hyundai over the last decade have really for the first time moved into motorsport and done spectacularly well here and there. In touring cars, like the World Tour, WTCC, Hyundai have been very successful. They've had success in rallying, so it can be done. I think it's Neuville, is he ever going to be champion? It seems unlikely at this point. And Lappy and Sunanen aren't going to be good enough, and Sordo, but they're part-time anyway. Well, Lappy isn't, but he's not going to be a champion. So at what point do Hyundai call it quits and maybe turn their attention to something else? Well, Ford are basically there because Malcolm Wilson has been involved with Ford for, what, 50 years? I mean, if he steps down or retires, will Ford have any interest in doing WRC anymore? Not necessarily. And I think that sort of does paint a dark future for the series. There's been talks for years. Peter Solberg was supposedly working with a manufacturer to get them into the WRC. We've never seen it come to light, and I've not really heard any more news. You never see anyone rumoured to be jumping into the WRC. It's very strange. For some reason, it's just not attracting teams to it. So we'll have to see what the future holds. There wasn't a lot of motorsport on last weekend. F1 Academy was at Zandvoort, and I think Hamda Al-Khabazi won a couple of races, and was it Kerry Schreider won the other one? I'm sure it was fascinating. I don't really care. I think Nerea Marti still leads that championship. Was it Belen Garcia? It's one of the Spanish ladies. DTM, Zandvoort, same place as F1 Academy, I suppose. But yeah, it was fine. It was nothing amazing. What else was on? Formula E, we've talked about. WRC, NASCAR, I don't even know who won. I don't care. IMSA, I honestly, again, just because I can't watch it, I haven't looked up the results, so who knows? It could have been the best race in the world ever, but it's too hard to find, so I haven't seen it. This weekend there's a lot more motorsport. Formula 1 coming from Austria, along with Formula 2 and Formula 3. World Rallycross and European Rallycross, if you're interested, are on as well. Nitro Rallycross started in June, and I didn't even know about it. And it's actually very hard to find for free now, because it's an exclusive on something, but I don't know what. I'm sure it's great, but if it's gone to a pay-per-view model, then I can't be asked. I loved Nitro Rallycross. I thought it's a lot of fun. Doesn't get a lot of exposure, it seems. Like, their channel doesn't seem to get a lot of views, but the racing's quite exciting. But if it's not free anymore, I probably wouldn't bother searching it out. I can't remember what else. I think Formula Regional European's on this weekend. I think World Endurance is next weekend, isn't it? I don't know, I'll have to double check. But that was just some thoughts on the WRC Safari Rally. It was good, I enjoyed it. Ogier and Rovanpera are a pretty big step above everyone else in the WRC right now. And I don't think that's going to change for a couple of years at least. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you enjoy the Safari Rally? Are you enjoying WRC? Do you think it has a lot of issues it needs to sort out? Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.